Live worldwide. Let's first welcome to the ring, Alexander Morales.
Well, there is no busier 19-year-old fighter on the planet than this young man, Alexander Morales, who walks to the ring for the 8th time already this year, coming off of 2024, in which he fought 9 times. We last saw him in the ring on April 19th, dropping a 6-round decision to Christian Bozia, which was just 14 days after his loss to Alfie Middlemiss. But Morales' record can be a little deceiving. His 6-13-5 resume may have more to do with overactivity and short notice, as we saw last year when he upset the 16-3-1 Roberto Perez, the Mexican featherweight champion. We'll find out if Morales has enough in the tank to upset the hometown hero tonight in our opener.
And now let's welcome the undefeated, mighty Mohamed Alakel.
Well, one of the fascinating things about Riyadh season and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's entry into the pro boxing realm has been the emergence of homegrown talent like this man, Mohamed Alakel. Mighty Mo is a trailblazer for Saudi boxing, and in many ways, a pilot project for what's to come here in Riyadh for years to come. Alakel is a pupil of Joe Gallagher, who runs the Mike Tyson gym in Riyadh, meaning that Alakel has had the chance to rub shoulders and train with high-level UK talent like Zelfa Barrett and Lawrence Okoli in recent times. Once a member of the Clovenstone amateur boxing team in Scotland, Alakel is now 3-0 as a professional, one of 6 pro fighters here in the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fatal Fury World Championship Boxing from A&B Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. And His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey, Al Sheikh. This event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry, Canelo Promotions, Agon Sports and Events, and Sella, along with their great sponsors, Riyadh Season, STA, STC, Dr. Suleiman El Habib Medical Group, and Arena Fitness Innovation. A big thanks to those great sponsors. We get things started with 6 rounds scheduled in the super featherweight division. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, Guy Williamson. When the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Kieran McCann. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing black and pink and weighed in officially at 133.6 pounds. Coming to us from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, he brings a professional record consisting of 6 wins, 13 defeats, 5 draws, 2 of his 6 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alexander El Tyson Morales. And his opponent across the ring, Fighting tonight out of the red corner, he comes to the ring wearing red with white and weighed in officially at 134.1 pounds. Hailing from right here, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he is undefeated with 3 victories. Ladies and gentlemen, here is mighty Mohammed Alakel.
Right, lads, listen up. You both know the rules. You will obey my command at all times. When I say to break, break clean. Take a step back, throw no punches. Mind your heads in close, lads, and most importantly, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands.
So we are ready to go with our opening contest here between Mohammed Alakel and Alexander Morales, and I am now joined by Chris Mannix and the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora. Ready to get the party underway here in Riyadh with the hometown hero, Mighty Mo.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mohammed Alakel. I think he is a very sharp prospect, obviously getting good training, good tutelage by Joe Gallagher. But I'm with you what you said in your opening, Corey. Morales is not a pushover. That record, I think, is very deceiving for the kind of fighter that he is.
Yeah, Morales extremely busy, as I mentioned, particularly for a 19-year-old. And he's kind of cutting, Sergio, the same type of schedule you often see a European or a UK journeyman cut, where you're kind of fighting every other week. But if he has it turned on, he can be dangerous.
Look, the thing about when you're studying a fighter, you look at his losses, right? You look at Morales, he has 13 losses, but how many times has he been knocked out? How many undefeated fighters has he faced? Plenty, but he hasn't been knocked out. 5 draws. That also tells you that he's very competitive with these winners as well. For a guy that's 3-0 like Alakel, really sharp. A lot of these Saudi fighters, you know, they have to learn on the job, you know, but from what we've seen from these Saudi fighters here in Riyadh, the most polished, one of the most polished is this kid right here. I like Alakel, the way he doesn't smother himself, the way he tries to counter lazy jabs from opponents, always sharp.
Yeah, he fights off the jab really well. I like his punch variants as well. It keeps you guessing upstairs and downstairs. He hasn't shown yet his real power with that right hand. Maybe that'll come as he gets a little bit older, but that's kind of the one missing piece of his game so far. You mentioned, of course, training at the Mike Tyson gym here in Riyadh with his coach, Joe Gallagher. And in terms of boxing gyms in the world, Chris, there may be more talent flowing through there on and off than anywhere else in the world right now. No question. All throughout the Middle East, of course, when fighters come through here to fight in Riyadh, big names, big stars, all training at that gym, including Canelo Alvarez during these last few weeks.
Look, guys, aside from that jab and keeping his distance, I can tell this kid's already educated. He threw a right hand expecting a hook to come and went under the hook that never came. But that goes to show you that he's thinking offense, but ready for the defense.
Morales trying to creep forward just a little bit here. He was kind of stuck on the outside at the end of that jab for the vast majority of this round. Now tries an uppercut and tries to reach the body of Alakel.
Sergio, talk about that defense. You can see Alakel very sharp with that right hand defensively. Basically has it pinned to the side of his jaw.
I like the little foot feints he's doing too. Look at his lead left foot. He's doing a little. He's trying to get his opponent to fight. He's trying to get Morales to fight off balance a little bit and catch him with an uppercut.
He's landed a couple of those already here in the early going. As we enter the final 10 seconds here of the opening round. And our fight card is officially underway as Alakel lands one more uppercut as we head back to the corners.
Hands down, legs out, control your breathing. All right? How do you feel? Good. Good. It was a good round, but it wasn't doing anything. All right. And what you should have done is just do a little bit more punches. All he's doing, as we've seen in all these fights, he comes round one, does nothing, and he downloads data of what you're doing and your movements, everything else. So watching his shots now, he's got to look to come back. He's downloaded what you do, but you've got to be a little bit more forceful and step in behind that jab and drive him back with the shots. And when he comes back, right at the beginning, he went double jab and his head was far forward over the front foot. Great.
Round 2 now underway. Muhammad Alakel and Alexander Morales. A couple of super featherweights kicking things off for us here in Riyadh. A good opening round for Muhammad Alakel as he found some routes for that uppercut up through the middle. Chris, you mentioned in the opening round, Alakel having that right hand glued to the side of his face, and as we've seen from Morales, hence the nickname El Tyson, he's not a super high output guy, but mainly he's looking for that leaping left hook. To reference last night, Rolly Romero won a fight by not moving his right hand from his chin and eradicating that left hook of Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, one of the big storylines coming out of that main event last night was what happened to Ryan Garcia, and there are definitely layers to it. The big thing was Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero came in with a disciplined game plan that included keeping that right hand up there. Sergio, you keep that right hand on your chin, that's the best possible defense for a left hook.
It really is. It also has its downside as well. You start getting lazy and not moving your head and not bending your knees and not wanting to evade the entire punch. But yeah, if you're disciplined enough, like we're talking about this fighter, he glues it to that. As soon as it lands, a left hook lands, he's letting go of a right hand.
You're such a buzzkill. I say it's a good defense.
Well, look, personally, I like evading the entire punch. I don't like catching punches. With 8-ounce gloves, you still feel the thump of the power.
Caught a lot of punches though, didn't you?
I did. Good body shot
to the body there from Alakel.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to see from Alakel. He's looking really sharp on his back foot. You can see that he wants to counter that lazy jab. He's trying to bite him in with the feints. But the body shots, you touch him upstairs, dig down to the body. That's how you catch these guys.
Well, in a very practical way, Morales, we talked about how he makes his living fighting often. You can't do that if you get cut or if you get knocked out upstairs. So there are routes to the body. He's mainly concerned about not getting touched up top, so he does give up shots like that.
And there you go. I think Alakel now is understanding that. He just caught another left hook right to the body right there. If he can start doubling them on one side or maybe go left and right and get an angle, that's how you catch these guys off guard. Don't stay right in front of them. Catch a flank, catch the left or the right.
I love that from Alakel. We have seen Olympians, ex-Olympic medalists that don't have the discipline early on to go downstairs to the body. He clearly has a discipline for punch selection already.
A lot of successful amateurs, no matter what country you fought in, they need to really learn how to fight the professional game, how to be patient and how to dig the body. You don't get points in the Olympics for body shots.
Good round there for Alakel, who steps things up. We head back to the corners at the end of round 2. On May 23rd, Terry Harper headlines in her hometown of Doncaster as she makes the first defense of her WBO World Lightweight title against the undefeated German Natalie Zimmerman. It's live on DAZN. It's part of your annual subscription.
Something, and as you're pulling, he was looking for the right hand over the top. But whilst you're jabbing, you're keeping him on his heels, you're keeping him turning. After that, jab, and as he's resetting, then you come with the right hand or the right uppercut, left hook. But back on the jab after that, then don't stand in front of him. It's like a bit like, to be honest, it's a bit like Devin Haney last night, mate. It's boring. Not exciting, no one. You've got to be a bit more powerful with the jab and don't drop the tempo because he doesn't do anything, do you understand? Yeah? You keep that jab pumping, he wants a slow pace, that's down to him. And you get your shots and your rhythm off, alright? Okay? Come on, here you go.
It's round 3 underway. Good advice in the corner there from Joe Gallagher, Sergio, asking Alakel to put a little bit more power on his jab to make Morales respect the jab a little bit more so as to open up more routes to the body.
Not only that, but you can alternate the jab. There's different jabs. You could throw the jab with the thumb up in the air. You could throw the jab with your thumb down. You could throw it straight. You can alternate the speed. You can alternate the power, dig it down to the chest, the belly. That's how you get your opponent thinking, and you can catch him with other big shots.
I love that short rear uppercut that Alakel throws to. That's going to be a weapon for him moving forward.
Nice right hand there from Alakel.
Alakel's really a no-frills kind of kid, too. Just completely focused on getting better week after week in the boxing gym. Everything with him seems to be just about improving as a boxer.
I seen him throw an up jab right now. See, now he's trying to realize, he's trying to figure out that Morales, you know, he's catching the same jab, so he needs to alternate it from down up.
See Alakel stepping in with that uppercut a moment ago, now offering his right hand a little more often here. Morales really not out of first gear quite yet.
You know, guys like that really don't come to win and keep their guard up like that. You got to be content hitting the gloves. You know, you touch the gloves and then you just pot shot them with one hard shot. You know, try to pierce that guard down the middle or around the guard. There you go, just like that. See, you try to sneak in that uppercut.
And I'm not getting the sense, Sergio, that Morales is a guy that's just here to survive or go these 6 rounds. I just think that Alakel is doing a pretty fantastic job of mixing it up and keeping him off balance. He's got a little bit of everything. Good jab, good body work, mixing up his punches, excellent footwork. Yeah, and with that long lead hand, the educated left hand of Alakel, it's a style that is proving to be a nightmare here for Morales as he eats an uppercut to the body. Alakel putting some whip on that one as he places a right hand downstairs as well.
You know what, Chris, I agree with you with, you know, we're seeing a little bit of everything except an angle. You know, whenever you do have a guy that gloves up like that, he doesn't see whenever you move to his left, to his right, so you can disappear on him and catch him off guard. That's the only thing that Alakel's not doing. He's not flanking his opponent. Throw away a punch just to get to the side of him.
Alakel remaining very busy and getting a lot of ring time. He's been a fixture on the last couple Riyadh season events. We last saw him, of course, on the Beterbiev Bivol 2 undercard. Now back again here tonight. Nice step back uppercut there from Alakel. Just grazed Morales. Another dominant round for the pride of Riyadh. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll get the first professional look at this man, Marco Verde, a new part of the Eddie Reynoso Canelo stable, the Olympic medalist, getting his pro career underway here tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Marco Verde. Watched him win a silver medal in the 2024 Olympics. He also has a win in the Pan American Games over Amari Jones, won a gold medal there. So he's getting his pro debut off to a great start, has an excellent team behind him with Team Canelo. Future's really bright for this young kid.
Stay switched on. Stu.
It's round 4 now underway. Muhammad Alakel cruising thus far here against Alexander Morales. And speaking of whom, our Claudia Trejos was just in the Morales corner, I believe. Claudia, what are you hearing?
Well, they're aware that he's having a hard time with his footwork. He's getting very predictable. He's having a hard time being explosive from his feet up. Apparently, the time change, the weather change is really affecting him.
Thank you, Claudia. Of course, short notice here for Alexander Morales as Alakel digs a nice left hook to the body. This fight was a late addition to the card and to the broadcast. Alakel, of course, lives here, so Morales gets the short notice and then has to get over here and take part in this fight.
Yeah, Morales took a good body shot, man. That was a solid, clean body shot by Alakel. He put everything behind it, torqued his entire body into it. Morales took it well.
Now we know about the adjustment coming from Mexico, Southern California. Canelo flew out here about 3 weeks prior to this date just so he could acclimate himself. And he told us this week that, hey, it was really only about Monday that I started to feel like myself.
Not a lot of time remaining in this fight for Alexander Morales to start feeling like himself and score one of those upsets that he does pull on occasion. He was in a similar type of spot in February against Gian Oguz in the UK and did pull the upset. Oguz was 4-1 in and around this level. So again, a good matchup for Alakel in terms of the level of opposition at this stage in his career too, Sergio.
Absolutely. Whenever you deal with fighters, you know, that only have 3 fights and you're, you know, feeding them fighters that have 15, 20 fights and haven't been stopped, that's a test.
Did you call that Morales fight, Corey?
I probably did, actually. inside the final minute here of round 4.
I really like Alakel. I think he's going to be an interesting prospect in this 135-pound division. And at only 20 years old, I'm anxious to see how that strength improves as he gets a little bit older. He's going to hit 22, 23. Maybe some of that man strength comes in. Some of these clean shots he's landing will have a bigger impact.
No, I agree. I could already see. You know, he pretty much has a little bit of everything, and he's sharp. The power's not going to be important. He develops the power with the size and the strength. Just little things to change. Maybe doubling up on punches, you know, to offset the rhythm of just left, right. You know, you could double up shots. Maybe, like I said, try to catch an angle. But that you got to work in sparring and in the gym and bring it into a professional fight.
10 seconds remaining here in round 4. Alakel getting a little bit playful, trying to open Morales up a little bit. That'll do it for the round.
Very good. Very good. But, all right, your jabs are doing really well, all right? Your jabs, your right hand.
Well, the FIFA Club World Cup comes to DAZN as some of the biggest names in football battle it out to become the globe's greatest. And what's more, the entire event, every game and every goal is live right here on DAZN.
Going through the gears, 1, 2, 3, so it's very good. You're looking for that jab right hook, and he'll roll under it and catch it up to the body.
And speaking of trailblazing Saudi fighters, here's Ziad Al-Mayouf, still undefeated. You've seen him on Riyadh season events in the past as well. Of course, watching his pal, Mohamed Alakel from ringside.
Zizo, big personality, 7-0, undefeated right now. And I love that these guys are trailblazers. They're pioneers in Saudi boxing. They are unquestionably role models for younger boxers getting in at 8, 9 years old when you really need to get into the sport in order to make an impact at a high level.
He's an impressive young man. I love hearing him talk. He always has a smile on his face, always says the right things. He's very articulate. Very impressive young man.
Yeah, Zizo is already a commentator in waiting.
Yeah, very much the antithesis of the personality of Alakel, who's very demure, you might say.
Antithesis.
There were 2 words in there that he has no idea what they meant.
Antithesis means the opposite. Demure is the opposite of you.
Nice left hook there from Alakel. Alakel starting to add a little bit more movement here. And Sergio, this is what you were asking for a little bit earlier, and it's something we know Alakel has. His background is also in Taekwondo, so in a different type of fight, he can use that kind of springy in and out movement.
You know, he jumped in with a lead left hook, you know, Roy Jones Jr. style. You know, I used to love that. Of course, you need athleticism, and he got away with it right there. I would love to see him do a little bit more of that too. You know, whenever you have someone that you're controlling like this, let it get good to you. You know, you could show off for the crowd.
I don't think he's reached that point yet in his career, understandably, where he's completely comfortable fighting that way. He's just so disciplined and so focused that whatever's working, he's going to keep going to it and win these types of decisions.
No, I get it, Chris, but when you have a fighter like Morales who just has an earmuff defense, he's giving you that free shot. You know, it's not going to be a power punch. It's not going to, you know, do much damage, but it looks good. It gets good to you. You start getting comfortable in there, doing that more and more.
And I'm sure, Sergio, when you're in a fight like this, against a defense like that, you're kind of 2 minds, where you see that defense and you think, okay, I could get a little more creative, or I could just keep repeating this and win these rounds.
Yeah, look, and he's been repeating pretty much every shot that he's doing. It's a jab, it's a right hook around the guard, a left hook, and then he throws a right uppercut, and then rinse and repeat. It's working because Morales doesn't have any answer for it.
That rear uppercut is a dangerous punch to throw, but it's also a really effective punch when it lands. We've seen the likes of Anthony Joshua have great success with that rear uppercut. As Alakel grows and gets stronger, and if he's still able to throw and land that shot effectively, that's going to be a real weapon for him.
Morales momentarily offering up a little bit of offense there. He connected on a couple body shots, but back comes Alakel with that clubbing right hand.
You know, also from, you know, he can hide his power. He can hide the punch he's really trying to land. Throw away a shot or two in order to land the one you're really trying to dig in there. These are all things that you learn with confidence, with experience, and with comfort in there. Touch, power. You know, touch, hit him to the body.
Buena pelea. Yeah.
Último round.
Yeah.
We have an exciting new feature to tell you about on the DAZN app. Switch between rounds by using Fight Card on your DAZN player and relive any of the action you've missed or rewatch the best bits again throughout the night.
Rápido. Yeah. Rápido nada más, yeah? But no opening. Yeah.
Careful on the counters. You can't be giving him a free shot or you cut your eyes. Do you understand? When he comes, just have an injection of pace in your legs. Listen, have an injection of pace in your legs. Jab, jab, jab. And then he comes with a really slow double jab. So jab, jab, slip, right hand. Jab, jab, slip, right uppercut, left up, body. All right, okay? Last round, go and finish it in style, but don't take too many silly chances, all right? Yeah? Stay switched on, good lad.
Sergio, I love when a fighter's engaged like that with this trainer. You can see Muhammad Alakel absorbing every bit of information that Joe Gallagher is relaying.
And it's simple information from Gallagher as well. Just touch, dig to the body, go back to the jab.
And speaking of which, Claudia Trejosa was in the Alakel corner. Claudia, what were you hearing?
Just a quick conversation with Gallagher himself. He's very satisfied with what Mighty Mo is doing, but he expects a lot more because he says his talent is so much better. He wants him to throw 2- and 3-punch combinations and let his hands go and be happy and enjoy the fight. And obviously, we reflected that. We could see that right now in the combination, in the conversation in the corner.
Yeah, if you were to use that new feature on the DAZN app that we referenced and you look back at the rounds, they might look very similar one after another here. Muhammad Alakel cruising so far and sticking with what works, Sergio.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, there's a lot of times that when you're making your pro debut, you're eager to go for the knockout, you're eager to look good, and that's when things go, you know, bad for you sometimes. You get hit with something dumb, get a cut, clash of heads. You know, so if things are easy for this fight right now, just the style that Morales has. This is the reason Morales doesn't get knocked out, because he doesn't really engage. He doesn't try to win. He's a professional opponent. Guys like this, you know, you just got to be content winning every round.
Good step back right hand as well. That one excites the crowd. Well, Sergio, this is a very tough way to make a living for a 19-year-old to be fighting 9-10 times a year. And even if he isn't getting bashed with headshots, even being in there at this kind of rate at 19 years of age, it's you know, it's quite a way to make a living.
That's why a lot of these fighters that come, you know, from Mexico and other parts of the world where they have a poor community, you know, they have outlets like boxing and other things, and you know, you can turn rags into riches whenever you're that good in fighting.
Nice body shot there from Alakel.
Yeah, he felt that one. Morales felt that punch right there. But you can see that he threw away the left hand upstairs. Morales was trying to block a hook. That's the reason there was an opening for the body. That's what I'm talking about. Touch somewhere to really land the punch you're aiming for.
And Alakel followed that up with a right hand to the body as well, and then the right hand right down the middle. We close in on the final 30 seconds of this contest. There's that leaping left hook again, Sergio.
Get him up, take a step.
And these are the moments in fights like this where sometimes you'll see a sequence now where a fighter like Alakel will try something like that.
Yeah, to get another paycheck. You know, finish strong in the last 10, 20 seconds. But no, we're not going to see it this time.
One more body shot there from Alakel. Doubles it up, bringing it up top. And that will do it. A flawless performance there from Muhammad Alakel. Not a ton of resistance from Alexander Morales here tonight, but some good rounds for the 20-year-old prospect from Riyadh. Well, the second event of the DAZN Queensbury Partnership sees Anthony Cacace take on Lee Wood for the IBO World Super Featherweight title on May 10th, live on DAZN as part of our 185-plus fight nights a year. All right, we are ready to make this one official, so let's send it back up to Thomas Treiber with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, Our referee in charge, Kieran McCann, scores the contest 60-54 for your winner. And still undefeated, mighty Mohamed Alakel.
Good win for Mohamed Alakel, improving to 4-0. Would love to see him turn around and get back really quickly. Maybe fight in the United States. We know that there's going to be a Ring Magazine show in July. Love to see him fight on that card. Keep this momentum going. Keep building, fight 5, 6, 7 times in a calendar year. I think there's a lot of potential in this young man. Of course, a growing boxing fan base here in Saudi Arabia. Alakel also with roots in the United Kingdom. There are a lot of places where you can take him to continue building up this record. Alakel now 4-0. And it looks like Joe Gallagher has himself a nice-looking prospect on his hands.